Right, this is the treadmill. Make sure you've got to use the treadmill safely, because when you get on it, there's many safety points like the clip that you put on. You attach this to just below there, so if you happen to come off, it'll come out like that and it'll stop the treadmill immediately. This can cause some sort of some injuries. It would be a 2 on the injury scale and a 2 on the possibility, because it can cause sort of cuts and grazes on your knee. You will need something to wash it out with, or just a sort of damp cloth to clean it. And the probability, it depends really, but if you're messing about on it, then it can happen quite well. You've got to make sure the speed it's on the right speed for you. Make sure you don't go over, if you're not a big sprinter, then you don't go over a speed that you can't run at. There's the incline as well. If you can't sort of incline it or press the buttons at the same time that you're running, because that can also make you come off. And so the way we prevent this is to make sure you get inducted properly on the treadmill. Make sure you know all the safety features, like putting this clip on before you run. You need to make sure that the treadmill is stopped safely before you get off, and make sure you finish your workout before you get off. This way we can prevent all of this happening, and it'll bring the risk score down to a 0.
The bench is clearly in the way. This could be a hazard, as anyone that may be in use of equipment behind it might trip over without seeing it, or someone else running around the classrooms being silly, and they could just fall on it simply, causing any head, knee, legs or arms injury. Severity of this happening is a 2, and the probability is also a 2, as people should put their equipment away. For example, there's a spare space with nothing there, and they can just simply take it, move it here, preventing any injuries happening and any hazards.
This is equipment in the way, in the floor. This is a chair, obviously someone could trip over it. I mean, it's a probability score of well, the risk of injury is a 2, as you could trip over it and get a cut or graze on your knee. And then the probability of it is 1, because it's not really that likely to happen. It is quite a big equipment, so you can see it quite well, unless someone's not concentrating, which is when the accident could happen. So that gives an overall rating of a 2. The way we can prevent this is to put the equipment away when we're done with it, so you can put it back in the right storage places, so it will give it another probability score of 0 overall. That's the way we can prevent it.
These poles that are in the way, it could cause a major injury, as they're quite heavy, and if this falls on you or on your head, when for example you're lying down on the mat, it could cause a severity injury that is a 3. And the way that you could prevent it is by putting it away, for example in storage, as it's not in use, or on the poles where it's supposed to be. And the probability of this happening is of course a 1, but if it's put away properly, there won't be anything, no harm, nothing done.
This weight has been left out, and this is quite a hazardous thing, as if someone could come over here and trip, and it can happen anywhere where the weights are, so it could be in a less obvious place. So the probability scoring of it is excuse me. Probability scoring of it is a 2, as the risk of injury is a 2, as you could trip over it and get a cut, bruise or a graze. And then the probability of it actually happening is 3, as well. If it's over there and it's more tighter space, then it's going to be harder to move around, so you'll have less space to move, and you'll have a lot more equipment now, and it'll be less obvious. So it'll be a probability scoring of a 3. which is a 6 overall. And the way we can prevent this is to put the equipment away after we've used it. So this way, all the equipment is away and all the equipment, the place is clean and tidy to work in. This brings it to a new probability of scoring over 0.
These bags are out, so clearly someone just came in, put the bags down and just left them. This is a risk as someone could run in without noticing the bags, trip on them and fall, and it could cause an injury like a bruise, or they could also hit the head. This severity is a 2 and the probability might be a 3, but this could be, you could put this away to prevent the falls and the injuries, and yeah, it brings the score down to 0, so it won't be a risk hazard.
Right, so we've got our bags left out here, so someone could easily come and trip and fall over it. The ground's quite sort of spongy, so you wouldn't be able to you might be able to get a cut and a graze from it or something like that, because the ground, if you slide along it, it can give you a bit of a burn. People just come in, put their bags down when they're entering for a lesson, so it's on the pitch here, so it's quite open, and people will be playing up here. If they don't move the bags, then someone will trip over it. So it gives it a probability rating, risk rating of a 2 and a probability rating of a 2 as well, an overall score of 4. And to prevent this, we do actually have a place where you can put your bags over there, so we can prevent the hazard with a new hazard rating of 0.
During games, you could get hockey sticks or any equipment that are broken, like this is, and this is quite sharp, and it can create some injuries if without knowing that the stick or the equipment is broken. For example, if you go to swing and you hit someone, it could be a major hazard, but the severity of it, I would give it a 2, and the probability of it happening is also 2. To prevent it from happening, you would have to check the equipment, all the equipment before using it, but this could give really bad damage to, for example, to face. That could be quite vital because it would have like a massive scar and it would have to be sewn up. And just to prevent it from happening, just make sure that you check the equipment before using it.
Right, so we've got the rugby pitch here, and it's got used quite a lot. As you can see, there's a bit of mud upturned on there, and when you get onto there, actually, it's a lot like this mud over here. It's quite upturned, quite muddy, not much grass on there. So people can, some people don't come out here with boots, so they can easily slip on it. Even people with boots can. It depends how long their studs are. And if you've got boots on, it's obviously less likely that you're going to slip, but it still can happen. This will give you a risk rating of a 2, as you can get cuts and grazes from it. I mean, a lot of people are playing rugby on here or playing sport on here, so you're going to fall over on it if you're doing fast-paced sports, for example rugby, football, even if you're just doing rounders, something like that. But the mud is quite upturned, so it would give it a probability rating of probably a 2, because a lot of it is quite upturned, but the amount of it, the likeliness of it actually happening isn't so likely. However, you could prevent this by trying to resurface the pitch, so it's got new grass on it and it's a lot fresher like this here, and it's less likely to slip on it and fall over. So new probability rating of about 1, because it still can happen if you are playing sport on it, and the pitch, it will still slightly get upturned if you're wearing boots, for example, but it will kind of prevent it as well at the same time.
As you can see, the weather outside isn't the best weather, and this weather could get even worse by creating puddles like that on the pitches. And when you have such weather and such mud and such wet grass and, for example, mud on the pitch, it could create hazards. Like, for example, you could fall and then break your leg or arm. And to prevent this from happening, you could go on the rubber crumb that could be over there, or you could go into an indoor court and play football or rugby there, but not as violent and not as aggressive as you usually would. And the severity of it happening is like 1, and the probability of it happening is 1. But we can't control the weather, but we can reduce the risks by going somewhere else.
Right, so we've got our fence here. Obviously it's quite hard, and down here is even worse. And as you can see, it's quite close to the pitch there. So the line, you've only got a short amount of space to stop in. Because it's quite close to the pitch, that people will be coming off the pitch and running into it. And if you do run into it, it can cause a bit of an injury. So you get a risk rating of a 3, as it could cause a bit of an injury to you. You could smack your head on it. But the likeliness of it is, obviously you can see this big fence here. It's quite obvious. People are going to slow down, grab onto the fence to slow them down as well. So it gives it a probability rating of 1. So put that together and it's 3. So if we could prevent this somehow, we'd probably put a pad over it or some spongy material, so we can actually run into it and you wouldn't get hurt from it. That would give us a new probability rating of a 0.
People during any coaching session or practicals or anything like that, usually some of them wear earrings like Jack here, but to prevent any injuries happening, like, I don't know, it's being turned off or anything like that, he would have to take it off like he's going to do now. And the severity of it happening is 3, and the probability is 1, as it wouldn't happen as often, and usually you could get caught on hair and be pulled off. And yeah, to prevent it is just to take it off before you start any session.
You had it all.
You could also put like any tape on it to prevent it from like coming off, or like, I don't know, touching it or getting it hit if you just got your earrings on, or if you don't want to take them off and lose them.